Welcome to the Moon Manifesting Podcast. I'm Kyra Howearth, your host. Here on the show, we talk all about manifesting your dreams with the power of the moon so you can use the cosmic energy to transform your life. Do you ever feel burnt out from the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday routine? Do you ever feel like, maybe you're just not meant to be working full time? Because as women, maybe we're not meant to be following this really rigid, structured routine that we've been drilled into. I see so many women who are burnt out and overwhelmed, and basically it's because we're not meant to be following this rigid cycle. We are allowed to create our own feminine flow and to find a routine that works for us. And in today's episode of the Moon Manifesting Podcast, I'm going to be walking you through the steps to find a more feminine flow within your business by maybe following the moon cycle or other cycles that might be present in your life. So if you're a woman or if you identify as a woman, then this episode can really help you. And even actually, you know what, if you're a man, like this may also be helpful for you too, because I totally get it. There are some guys out there and they're a bit more feminine. So this could also be really helpful for you. Don't mean to be like, gender exclusive. Basically, I've been teaching a lot of yoga lately. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I'm kind of a yoga teacher as my day job. It feels weird to say that. That's kind of like what I do when I'm not, talking all about the moon. I do talk about the moon in my yoga classes. I absolutely do. But anyways, I've been taking on some extra yoga classes lately because some of my colleagues have been away or they've been sick. And the importance of finding this feminine flow and creating a cycle that works better for me has become really important. This has come back into my consciousness over these past few weeks because I've just found myself so busy, and I've had to be extra aware of the times when I would usually have low energy and either honor myself during those times and not take on extra classes, or if I, had no choice, then to opt for a gentler style of class. And also just having more boundaries, I guess, in my life to know when I need to rest more. Even if, I've had to still go out and work, at least I've been able to take care of myself before I've had to go out there into the world and, give my energy out. And honoring this feminine flow with my work has just been so vital for me, especially over these past few weeks, because it's helped to expand my capacity so that I have been able to take on this extra work without feeling burnt out, without feeling too overwhelmed. I'm going to be sharing today a few ways that you can honor your cycles too and create more feminine flow, because it just breaks my heart to see so many women who are so burnt out and stressed out, and life really does not have to be this way. I feel like society puts so much pressure on us, the patriarchal system and this more masculine, rigid way of living. It's really not for us as women. We really need to reclaim our power and stand up and set boundaries and honor our cycles. So there's a few different cycles that we can work with. And I think possibly the most important cycle to work with is your menstrual cycle. If you are menstruating, then you really need to be paying attention to your menstrual cycle. And if you're not menstruating, if you're menopausal or you just don't have a cycle for whatever reason, we'll talk about other cycles that you can be following as well. But if you are menstruating, I feel that this is even more important than the moon cycle. And you guys know how much I live by the moon cycle, right? But I feel like our menstrual cycle is it's even more important to honor and follow, especially when it comes to physical work. If you're going out there and expending your physical energy, then you need to be aware of your menstrual cycle and where you're at in your cycle and how that could be potentially affecting you. So when you're menstruating, or even in those first days just before you start menstruating, so right at the end of your cycle, these are really important times to rest, to take a step back, and to not expend as much energy, especially once you're menstruating, once you've got your bleed, this is especially like a sign for you to just take a step back, to rest a bit more, to not exert so much energy. So in terms of like me teaching yoga, like I had I can't even remember how many weeks it's been now, but just like so many more weeks with these extra classes. And like one of these weeks I was menstruating and I was like, okay, how can I support myself during this time? So I opted to either do a gentler style of class. So like, I was, encouraging my students to also take a gentler option with their practice. And also teaching from off the mat, where I was just able to spend more time walking around the room, giving like alignments and adjustments and that sort of thing, rather than actually like practicing the yoga asana myself, which was a much more gentler option on my body. So there was ways that I could do that even though I still had to go out and go to work. So there's that. Like you can find ways to work around. This is what I'm getting at. Like when you're menstruating, when you're bleeding and you need to be resting, even if you can't take that time off, is there a way that you can modify your work so that you can take an easier, more gentler option on your body? Or is there, other ways that you can support yourself? So like during your menstrual cycle, you may like to support yourself with increasing your iron intake, whether that's through supplementation or just through dietary sources. Maybe like laying off the caffeine a bit too during this time, and supporting yourself. Like if you get any menstrual symptoms, and making sure that you're supporting yourself, maybe using essential oils or natural therapies or massage or whatever it happens to be that's going to support you to get through this time, making sure that you're filling your own cup. So, okay, we've talked about the menstrual cycle and like taking it easy when you're menstruating. But the other way to work with your cycle is that knowing like how the rest of your cycle affects you. Do you notice that when you're ovulating that you get the surge of energy and that you have this expanded capacity to take more things on? Because I know that when I'm ovulating, I tend to have much more energy, and I definitely can take on more things. I have more capacity. I feel like, yes, I can, take over the world sort of energy. And so this could be a really good time where you can fit more work in. You can put more things on your to-do list because your capacity is expanded. So we kind of like, instead of having like this 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, where it's like, same, you can kind of have a week off, so to speak, when you're menstruating, or like a week of reduced activity. And then as we come into like your week of ovulation or week-ish of ovulation, this could be a week where, you have that heightened energy. So you're doing more, you're achieving more, you're being busier, you've got more things on your plate, but it's okay because you can handle it. So this is an example of how you can work with your menstrual cycle, and you don't have to do exactly what I've said here, but just becoming aware of how your cycle feels for yourself and finding a way to work with your cycle rather than just like ignoring it, suppressing it, like, oh, I don't want to go to work today because I'm menstruating and I feel like crap, but I've got to go to work anyway. Like, is there a way that like, can you have sick leave? Can you, take that time off? Or is there a way that you can still show up to work but support yourself, or, have that reduced activity, or whatever's going to help you feel supported there? Okay, so the menstrual cycle is just one of these cycles that we can follow to create a more feminine flow in our business. The second cycle is, of course, the moon cycle. So this is going to be especially relevant if you don't have a menstrual cycle. So like, if you're a man, if you just don't menstruate, like maybe you don't have a cycle for whatever reason, you're, postmenopausal or whatever, you're taking contraceptives that stop your cycle, like, that's all valid too. Like if you don't have a true menstrual cycle, I would recommend following the moon cycle and using this as your guide to create a bit more flow into your life. So very similar to how you work with the menstrual cycle, I would suggest firstly just observing how you feel throughout the moon cycle. So you may notice that during the new moon you might feel a bit more tired, you might feel like you have less energy, whereas the full moon you might feel extra energized and like you've got lots of energy, you're buzzing and you're really high vibe and that sort of thing. It's like the new moon can be a bit more like menstruation and the full moon can be a bit more like ovulation. But you may find that you may feel the complete opposite. Maybe you feel more energized during the new moon. Maybe you feel more sleepy during the full moon. That's cool too. However it affects you, just noticing how the moon cycle affects you and use that to your advantage. Use that so that you know that, okay, there's this time with the moon cycle coming up and I know that I feel quite tired here. I'm going to not take on any responsibilities here. I'm not going to take on any extra shifts at work. I'm going to be really kind to myself. I'm going to just lie down and watch Netflix in bed for the day or whatever it is that you have the capacity to do, right? Like, yeah. So you can follow the moon cycle in the same way. And again, use this in a way that works for you to create a cycle, a routine that works for you, that makes you feel supported, that makes you feel like, you know, you're not getting burnt out because you have this time to rest. You have this time to step back, to retreat, to look after yourself before going out there and, you know, giving out heaps of your energy. So, okay, we've talked about the menstrual cycle, we've talked about the moon cycle, but what other cycles are there that may be present in your life? So I often talk to a lot of mums and they, you know, have their kids at school. So maybe you have like this school hour cycle. Maybe you drop your kids off at 9 and then you have like about 6 hours for you to do something before you've got to pick up the kids again. So how can you support yourself within that cycle? Like maybe you know, like, okay, I'm really busy when I've got the kids at home, like in the mornings, we're just flat out trying to get to school. Then I've got this 6 hours to, you know, do something for myself, to work on my business or do whatever it is I need to do. So you can plan your life. Okay, my work hours are just going to be from this time when I'm not stressed out from the kids, when I don't have all this extra stuff on, because then once I pick the kids up from school, then my life gets really busy and I just can't see any clients then and that sort of thing. So maybe that's something that applies to you. Maybe you have support. Maybe you have these cycles of support in your life. Again, with kids, maybe like your kids go to someone's house, maybe you have support where they can, you know, go somewhere for a while and then you have that time to do whatever it is you need to do. Or maybe there's other cycles in your life that you're noticing. Maybe cycles with your shift work, like particularly if like, you know, you're working like maybe at a hospital or something and you know you have night shifts going on. Like you can design your life around this so that you're not like, you know, running on 2 hours sleep and feeling exhausted all the time. Like you're able to support yourself to honor these cycles that are present in your life and design your life around this. All right. So through this episode, you have identified how to work more in tune with your own cycles to honor your feminine flow. And you don't have to feel so strict with yourself and feel like you have to be a slave to the grind and, you know, follow the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, that you are allowed to rest and pause. You're allowed to take time off when you have low energy and when you just need a break from the world. Like it's totally okay to honor those times when you need rest. It's okay to set boundaries, to take a step back and to look after yourself, to fill your own cup so that you're not feeling burnt out and overwhelmed. So I would like to invite you, if this really resonates with you, if you're so sick of working the 9 to 5 grind, or even if like you're running your own business and you're not necessarily confined to the 9 to 5, but you feel like you're just working overtime. I saw this meme a while back and it was like, I quit my 9 to 5 job so I could work 24/7 as an entrepreneur. And I was like, oh my God, that is so me. But that used to be me, but I have taken so much time to implement boundaries and to find a more feminine flow within my life and business now, and it works so much better for me now and I don't feel so stressed and overworked. So if you want that for yourself too, if you want to find this more feminine flow and to design a life and like business routine that works for you, we cover so much more of this and other important business topics such as boundary setting, self-care, working with the moon cycle, manifesting your income goals, designing your astrologically aligned branding, and so much more inside the Soul Aligned Business Mastermind. Oh, we cover so much stuff. It is a 6-month business mastermind where you're going to connect with a group of amazing healers and energy workers and creatives and artists and beautiful soul-led business owners. And together we're going on a journey that is aligned with the moon cycle so that you can grow and evolve your business in alignment with your soul's blueprint, with who you naturally are, and designing it around the lifestyle that you want to manifest, your dream life. Like, how exciting is this? You don't have to be stuck in a box. You don't have to be stuck in the 9-to-5 grind. You can literally manifest a 10-hour work week if that's what you want. And we work through all of this through the Soul Aligned Business Mastermind. So we officially start on the 9th of April, and you can join before then at kyrahowearth.com/SABM. Soul Aligned Business Mastermind. So that's just SABM, kyrahowearth.com/SABM. So that's for you if you want to grow and evolve your business. If you feel like you need to change something, if you're sick of feeling overworked and overwhelmed and you know you need more structure, but in a way that allows you that freedom and flexibility to do things that actually light you up so that you can fill your own cup and feel restored and refreshed before you have to, work and expend your energy. So today, we've really just come on this journey from feeling burnt out to finding more flow, from feeling overwhelmed to feeling like your cup is overflowing with abundance and love. You are allowed to design your life on a schedule that suits you. You can take time off when you menstruate, when it's the dark moon or new moon, or you can take on extra stuff when it's the full moon or when you're ovulating. You are allowed to design your own routine, your own lifestyle, your own schedule. And by doing this, you can tap into a more feminine flow within your life and business. So I hope that this episode was really helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, to give me a review depending on what platform you're listening on today. All your support always means the world to me. And don't forget to send me a message on Instagram or Facebook if you listen to this episode and it really resonated with you. I always love hearing your feedback. And if you want to learn more about business astrology, let me know, because your feedback always guides what episodes end up here on the show. So stay magical, stay manifesting, and stay tuned. I'll see you again on the Moon Manifesting Podcast soon. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Moon Manifesting Podcast. If you are curious about working with the moon, you can read my book, Moon Manifesting, or join us inside the Moon Manifesting Coven. You'll find the links in the show notes, or go to kyrahowearth.com.